Welcome to Damn Good Movie Memories with your host, Brian Davis. This podcast is the cure for your long commute and super boring workday. Hey there, it's Brian Davis, and for this week's episode, it's time to party. That's right, we're going to talk about our favorite movies that take place at a party. Now, the movie doesn't have to take place the entire time at a party, but for the most part, we tried to find movies that were centered around a vital scene, or maybe the goal is to get to that party. And so that's what we decided to come up with as a criteria. Are we getting light on subjects? Probably, but that's okay. There's enough party movies to talk about, and that's what we will cover this week. All right, let's get into my top 10 list now. Number 10 is National Lampoon's Van Wilder from 2002. Now, if you watch enough college-type comedies or movies under the National Lampoon moniker, you realize they all kind of follow a certain format, and Van Wilder is no different when it comes to being predictable, but that doesn't mean it isn't fun to watch. There's certain genres of movies that follow a format because that's what the viewers want. There's really no need to reinvent the wheel all the time. So Van Wilder stars Ryan Reynolds, Tara Reid, Kal Penn, and Tim Matheson. Matheson, you might remember, he starred in one of the most famous college comedies, which is probably high on this list today, so we'll get to it. The quick plot is about a super popular 7-year college student named Van Wilder, who's played by Ryan Reynolds, and he's finally getting cut off tuition-wise, and he needs to raise enough cash to continue his overlong college career, which involves lots of partying. Number 9 is Take Me Home Tonight from 2011. Now, this kind of follows the retro craze of going back to the 80s, but you know I love the 80s, so it's going to work, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. For me, this movie works, and it definitely fits the party angle, as the entire point of the movie ends up at one major party towards the end of the film. So the movie stars Topher Grace, Anna Faris, Dan Fogler, and Teresa Palmer. Topher Grace just graduated from MIT, and then his character at least, and so he's actually working at a video store, and then his high school crush walks in, and he kind of makes up a story about how successful he's really doing, and he's not really working at the video store, he's just shopping there, but we know that's a lie. And so the point is, he just kind of, it's that 80s build-up where he's trying to build himself up so he can eventually, like the girl. And of course, it all kind of comes together at the party, maybe or maybe not, depending on what happens. And of course, he's always that shy kid who has to do something really crazy to prove how much he's grown up. It's very 80s, I know, but I like it. And it's a good party movie. Number 8 is Office Christmas Party from 2016. Hell, party's in the title. It's got to be on the list. But this is actually one of the better comedies to come out in the last few years. Of course, it kind of follows the same trope of what it's been going on with comedies lately. But this one seems to work just a little bit better. Jason Bateman's in it, Olivia Munn, TJ Miller, Jennifer Aniston, Kate McKinnon, Courtney B. Vance. Really, it's a fun comedy, especially if you've gone to office parties gone awry. Here you go. So basically, TJ Miller kind of follows a similar format that he does in Silicon Valley. This time he's playing a branch manager of a company, and then his uptight sister is played by Jennifer Aniston. Basically is going to shut down his branch, so he decides, what the hell, we're going to be shut down anyway, let's throw the best office Christmas party ever, and he just pulls out all the stops and spends a fortune on just crazy stuff, so you have to see it, and it's just one debacle after another, and so it's perfect for the party theme. And if anyone went to a party like this, you may not survive, but it's a lot of fun to watch.
Cool.
Jesus.
Did you rent a live baby?
Yeah, for the nativity scene. What? It's cheaper than you think, okay?
Is it?
Oh, shit! DJ Calvin's in the house tonight. Streaming live on Periscope. Bitches, add my Snapchat. DJ Calvin.
Joel's friend looks just like Joel.
Ooh, looks like some babies getting made tonight.
I'm not looking to get pregnant tonight.
Excuse me. Sorry. Joel, that's a red card for you.
Babies are not getting made tonight, not here on company property. If you're going to have intercourse, please go beyond the flood lamps at the perimeter of the plaza and into the Rite Aid parking lot.
Guess right, because we fucking tonight.
Joel, language.
This is still an office, and even though it's dark outside, the rules don't turn off.
The rules may not turn off, but your inhibitions can. I'm talking about take your peepees out and put them in some booties. Flip.
And remember that tonight, the decisions you make will have consequences that will haunt you for the rest of your professional lives. And And so have fun.
Yeah, Mary, way to psych everybody up.
Main takeaway, if you're gonna fuck, do it in a parking lot. Turn up!
Number 7 is Old School from 2003. You know, for a long time, there was a lull with regards to ridiculous comedies being made, and now we're back at this lull. But in 2003, this was kind of a breath of fresh air. And every now and then, you know, at the time, you get an American Pie or a Road Trip. But for the most part, the outrageous movies that seemed to be released regularly in the 80s just wasn't carrying over to the new millennium. And unfortunately, we're kind of in that lag now because all the writers write the same shit over and over again. And all it is awkward comedy instead of just genuinely funny comedies. But Old School kind of bucked the trend and, you know, kind of out of the blue, no pun intended if you've seen the movie, Old School comes out and restores my faith in humanity. But not really, but it sounded good at the time. Old School really launched Will Ferrell's movie career. You know, he was very popular in Saturday Night Live, but movie-wise, he hadn't really taken off. He was kind of doing bit roles. And how can you not love Frank the Tank? You're my boy, Blue! In case you missed that pun earlier. And again, you have the greatest wedding band ever when they're singing Total Eclipse of the Heart and throwing in all sorts of curse words and things like that. And there's tons of partying, so that's why it made the list. Even Snoop Dogg performs at their party and whatnot. But if you miss Old School, which I'm shocked, because if you listen to this podcast, I'm sure you've seen Old School, go check it out again.
Excuse me. Pardon me, I just want to get through there to the store over if you don't mind. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, this is his house. Yo, what's up, man? How you doing?
No, that's my friend Mitch. You're mistaking me, that's my friend Mitch. He owns the house.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, yo, man, come hit this right here. You need to hit this. Oh, yeah. Hit that.
No, I appreciate it, but I told my wife I wouldn't drink tonight. Besides, I got a big day tomorrow. But you guys have a great time.
A big day? You doing what?
Well, actually, pretty nice little Saturday. We're gonna go to Home Depot. Yeah, buy some wallpaper, maybe get some flooring, stuff like that. Maybe Bed Bath & Beyond. I don't know. I don't know if we'll have enough time.
You know what?
Okay, you know what? Give me that thing. Yeah, I'll do one.
We gonna do one.
Do one.
Let's go.
Do one. Do one.
Do you, baby? Oh! That's a talented man. That's what I'm talking.
Do it up again. We got it. So good. Once it hits your lips, it's so good.
All right, number 6 is Superbad from 2007. You know, I was just talking about with Old School, it took a while, and this was what I was talking about. Within like 4 years, there were kind of like mediocre comedies coming out, and then Superbad comes out, and this is right in my wheelhouse. You know, essentially, Superbad is my must-watch zone, you know, being a fan of comedy movies. Jonah Hill and Michael Cera remind you of those teen duos of the 80s, of the past, you know, like Weird Science or License to Drive or Revenge of the Nerds. And then you throw in a curveball with the McLovin character and you have comedy gold. You know, again, in the 80s, it seemed like the studios would put out these types of movies with ease, and then they sort of dried up, you know, in the late 90s, in the millennium. But you know, every so often you get a gem like Superbad, and I think that's what makes these movies so good is they don't necessarily follow the same pattern and format and you know what they think, what writers and producers think that work. If they think outside the box, sometimes it works, and this is one of the great movies that came out in the 2000s. And basically the premise, or they're trying to get to a party, they're trying to buy beer, they're in high school, even though they don't look like they're really in high school, but that's okay. Michael Cera always looks like he's in high school. Even when he's going to be 50, he's going to look like a teenager. In any case, you got to see Superbad. It's right up there with Old School and all the other great party movies.
What are we supposed to tell the girls? That we couldn't do the one thing that we promised because we're dickless incompetence? Now we're never gonna bone because of that used tampon Fogel. How do you get into Darman? I don't get it. He's got shit for brains. All right, how else can we get alcohol?
Yo, guys. What's up?
Fogel, where have you been, man? You almost gave me a goddamn heart attack. Let me see it. You pussy out or what?
No, man. I got it. It's flawless. Check it.
Hawaii. All right, that's good. It's hard to trace, I guess. Wait, you changed your name to McLovin? McLovin? What kind of a stupid name is that, Fogel? What, are you trying to be an Irish R&B singer?
Oh, they let you pick any name you want when you get down there.
And you landed on McLovin.
Yeah, I was between that and Muhammad.
Why the fuck would it be between that or Muhammad? Why don't you just pick a common name like a normal person?
Muhammad is the most commonly used name on earth. Read a fucking book for once.
Fogel, have you ever actually met anyone named Muhammad?
Have you actually ever met anyone named McLovin?
No, that's why you picked a dumb fucking name.
Fuck you.
Give me that. All right. You look like a future pedophile in this picture, number one. Number two, it doesn't even have a first name. It just says McLovin.
What? What name? What name? Who are you, Seal?
Fogel, this ID says you're 25 years old. Why wouldn't you just put 21, man?
Seth, listen up, ass face. Every day, hundreds of kids go into the liquor store with their fake IDs, and every single one says they're 21. How many 21-year-olds do you think there are in this town? It's called fucking strategy, all right?
Let's stay calm, okay? Let's not lose our heads. It's a fine ID. It's gonna work. It's passable, okay? This isn't terrible. I mean, it's up to you, Fogel. This guy's either gonna think, here's another kid with a fake ID, or here's McLovin, the 25-year-old Hawaiian organ donor. Okay? So what's it gonna be?
I am McLovin.
No, you're not. No one's McLovin. McLovin's never existed because that's a made-up, dumb, fucking fairy tale name, you fuck!
Jeez, man, it'll work. Give it a chance.
Number 5 is Wedding Crashers from 2005. This is a real fun movie starring Owen Wilson and Vince Vaughn. The supporting actors are really great. Christopher Walken, Rachel McAdams, Isla Fisher, Jane Seymour, and Bradley Cooper in an early role. The movie goes to show that you don't have to enjoy a particular subject to enjoy a movie about it, because I dread going to weddings. I'm happy for whoever is getting married, but you can leave me out of it. Those are always fun discussions about going to weddings. At least we can enjoy Wedding Crashers. We can live vicariously through the group. Now, these guys love a party, and that's why they like going, and that's why they crash, and they kind of make an art of it. And maybe if the cast was at the weddings that I attended, I'd like them a lot more. But for the most part, leave me out of it. I'll stick with watching Wedding Crashers. Number 4 is Can't Hardly Wait from 1998. And for years, my friends and I would confuse Can't Hardly Wait with 10 Things I Hate About You, which is easy to do in my opinion, though I intend to enjoy Can't Hardly Wait a little bit more. The film stars Jennifer Love Hewitt, there's a 90s staple, Ethan Embry, Charlie Corsmo, Lauren Ambrose, Peter Fasinelli, and Seth Green. Green is especially hilarious as a wannabe hip-hop fan. The story kind of has an 80s feel to it, as Embry has a major crush on Hewitt, and he spends his entire high school career trying to get her to like him or even notice him. So, of course, it all comes together during the big party scene, it's not really a party scene. The entire movie basically takes place at a party. And though the movie is very similar to 16 Candles, kind of reversed, it's not as classic as 16 Candles. In any case, the movie is a nice timepiece for the late 90s and those who grew up around that time period. Number 3 is Dazed and Confused from 1993. And so before Matthew McConaughey was super creepy and weird in his Buick ads, he was super creepy and weird in Dazed and Confused. Do you remember the old...
All right. Oh, Christ. How you doing?
Pretty good.
Cool. You heard about the party being busted, right?
Oh, yeah.
Not to worry. There's a new fiesta in the making as we speak. It's out at the Moon Tower. Full kegs. Everybody's gonna be there. You ought to go.
Okay.
Okay, we'll be there.
Okay.
Say you need a ride?
No, I got my own car. Thanks.
Yeah, well, listen, you ought to ditch the two geeks you're in the car with now and get in with us, but that's all right. We'll worry about that later. I will see you there. All right?
Bye.
I love those redheads, man.
I know you. We had geography together, remember?
Oh, what a dick. It was so creepy. Why are you smiling?
I thought he was cute.
Oh, that's disgusting.
You thought he was cute? Do you realize when he graduated, we were like 3 years old?
Oh, Cynthia, what are you thinking?
No, man. No, I'll tell you. That's what I love about these high school girls, man. I get older, they stay the same age.
Yes, they do. Go.
Yes, they do.
All right. So, for some reason, I always remember that he's in the movie, but then always forget that Ben Affleck is also in the movie, starring as the major asshole Banyan. I remember wanting to see this movie when it was released in 1993, and of course being turned away at the movie theater because I was only 14. whatever. I eventually rented it a few months later and really didn't understand what the R rating was for. There was no nudity, there was some weed smoking and great music, and it seemed pretty harmless, almost like American Graffiti in many ways. In any case, Dazed and Confused made me wish I was in high school in the 70s instead of the early 90s. And of course, there was a great party scene at the end. But pretty much the whole day is it's a one-day movie. We talked about that. And wraps up with them all going to a major party out in the woods at the end of the film. Number 2, it's in the title, it's Bachelor Party from 1984. I think the most interesting thing about Bachelor Party is that it stars Tom Hanks, granted a very young Tom Hanks. The movie also stars Tawny Kitaen a few years before she became famous for rolling around cars and in the Here I Go Again video for Whitesnake. You also, if you're a fan of hard rock and hair metal, she was the cover girl in the original Rat albums, so either the debut album for Rat, the EP, where you just see her legs and there's these mice crawling up her leg, and then of course in the Rat's biggest album, Out of the Cellar, from 1984, she is the cover model, and she was dating Robin Crosby, the guitarist at the time. In any case, this movie is your typical 80s sex comedy, which is fun and amusing to watch, and the plot is simple. Tom Hanks is getting married to Tawny Kitaen. Hanks' buddies decide to throw him the craziest bachelor party ever, and ultimately the goal of Hanks is to remain faithful throughout the insanity that his friends create. It is just a nuts movie. It's very 80s. It's fun to watch it. It's actually fun to watch all of Tom Hanks' movies because they're all comedies. They really didn't get serious until he was in Philadelphia, and he really hasn't been in crazy comedy since. So it just shows the kind of diverse actor that Hanks became. Number 1, it had to be Animal House from 1978. Yeah, the entire movie isn't a party. It's involving, college life back in the 60s. But yeah, I mean, there were some major party scenes, whether it be the toga party or when Dorfman and the other guy go to check out, the frat. I mean, they are partying most of the movie, and that's what eventually leads them to be on double secret probation or whatever they want to call it. And yeah, there's so many great scenes. We talked about it a little bit when my mom and I covered the Animal House soundtrack. So if you haven't seen the movie, I mean, come on. This is an all-time classic. It's one of the best party movies. It's one of the best school movies or college movies ever made. And Belushi absolutely makes this film, but there's a great cast of characters also involved, whether it be Donald Sutherland or Karen Allen in one of her first films, and Tim Matheson, who we mentioned earlier. That's who I was alluding to from the Van Wilder pick. But yeah, just a tremendous movie, one of the best comedies ever made.
Greg, what is the worst fraternity on this campus?
Well, that would be hard to say, sir. They're each outstanding in their own way.
Cut the horseshit, son. I got their disciplinary files right here. Who dumped a whole truckload of fizzies into the swim meet? Who delivered the medical school cadavers to the alumni dinner? Every Halloween, the trees are filled with underwear. Every spring, the toilets explode.
You're talking about Delta, sir.
Of course I'm talking about Delta, you twerp! This year it's going to be different. This year, we're going to grab the bull by the balls and kick those punks off campus.
What do you intend to do, sir? Delta's already on probation.
They are?
Yes, sir.
Oh. Then, as of this moment, they're on double secret probation.
Double secret probation, sir?
There is a little-known codicil in the Faber College Constitution, which gives the dean unlimited power to preserve order in time of campus emergency. Find me a way to revoke Delta's charter. You live next door. Put Niedermeyer on it. He's a sneaky little shit just like you, right? The time has come for someone to put his foot down. And that foot is me.
Now, I do have some extras. I mentioned 16 Candles. What a party scene there. And you get the introduction of Long Duck Dong, played by Gedde Watanabe. Terrific character. I know some people might have a problem with him now, but look, he's the one that gets the laughs. He's not being laughed at. Sort of in the vein of like Blazing Saddles, but people are too uptight nowadays. American Pie, yes, there's some great scenes in American Pie. How can you forget Stifler's mom? You can't, because it's tremendous. I got that out eventually. The Hangover, come on, one of the ultimate party movies. That was tough to leave out, but yeah, The Hangover's terrific. And then Back to School. While the movie with Rodney Dangerfield from 1986, most of the movie does not take place at a party, but there was one party scene where Oingo Boingo is playing Dead Man's Party, and it's a terrific, terrific scene. So I had to throw that in there. All right, let's see what everyone else has to say in this week's episode. All right, it's time to party, and the best person to party with, well, at least right now, it's Keith. Welcome back, Keith.
Wow, what an intro, at least right now. I guess the party has started then.
The party, yes, you're here, and that's all that matters right now.
Well, thanks for having me and inviting me to your party.
No problem.
I kind of struggled with this one because I wasn't sure what a party movie was. Is it a movie that gets played in the background for a party? There's a main party in it.
I should have been more specific for this one. This one is where the whole movie doesn't have to be one party, but there has to be a significant scene where there's a party taking place. To me, the most obvious would be like Old School or something, or even the Animal House,
Yep, and that's kind of the route that I went with it, is that's what I kind of figured you were doing, was that the main theme of the movie had to revolve around a party. So, as you know me, I've got a top 5 with a couple honorable mentions.
I love it. I love that you're organized.
Yeah, well, that's what happens sometimes. So, not all the time, but this time it happened. So, my first honorable mention was 10 Things I Hate About You.
Great movie, and it's I think it's based on Taming the Shrew, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Taming of the Shrew.
That's a fun one, and you get a very young Heath Ledger.
Heath Ledger and Julia Stiles.
Yep. Jonathan. Is it the kid with 3 names?
Jonathan, the guy that was in Dark Knight.
Yes, exactly. He plays Robin, or what we think is going to be Robin.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yes, exactly. Yep.
And I don't remember the dad's name, but he's always like the funny, sarcastic comedian dad.
Yes, he's a great character actor.
Actual comedian.
Yeah, great character actor.
Yes. And then, surprisingly, my other honorable mention did not make the top 5 for me, was American Pie.
Interesting. Basically Stifler's mom and all that stuff.
Yeah, but to me, it was that one revolved more around the I guess the theme of them just trying to get laid as opposed to the party.
Exactly.
I think so. That's probably why I threw it as an honorable mention.
And I remember the actor we're talking about. His name's Larry Miller.
Thank you. Yes. Yeah. I was gonna say Miller, but the only one that kept popping in my head was Dennis, and I'm like, that's definitely not Dennis Miller.
Not him. No.
All right, so my number 5, I'm going back to the 80s on that one, and that's going to be Bachelor Party.
Oh, people forget that in the 80s, Tom Hanks was a comedic actor. That's pretty much all he was in.
Exactly, and I'm sure that people don't even remember Bosom Buddies as a TV show. No, dressed in drag.
That's right.
So I'm sure he loves having that brought up for him.
Oh, I bet. And of course, in Bachelor Party, Whitesnake fans should know that his fiance is Tawny Katane.
Tawny Katane, Bachelor Party, yes.
Definitely worth checking out.
Who could forget that?
Absolutely. That is a fun movie. That's a lot of fun.
That it is. Yeah. Number 4 was Old School.
Definitely has to. Frank the Tank.
Frank the Tank. You're my boy, Blue.
That's right.
That one is definitely one that was played in the background at parties, that you would catch people just kind of staring off and paying attention, not paying attention, but going back to it, it's still pretty fun for me to watch.
And then going back to your initial idea of fake movie band, the Dain band, which is the wedding band, they're amazing. And then there are a lot of Todd Phillips movies.
But I thought they were a real band.
They are. Maybe they just do kind of like their own spin on things, but
I don't know. I don't know if they became a band because of Old School, or they were a band and were put in Old School, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, their rendition of Total Eclipse of the Heart, it's amazing.
It doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah, exactly. It's so good.
Every now and then I get a little bit lonely and you're never coming round. Turn around. Every now and then I get a little bit tired of listening to the sound of my tears. Turn around. Every now and then I get a little bit nervous said the best of all my years have gone by. Turn around. Every now and then I get a little bit terrified. I see the fucking look in your eyes. Turn around, bright eyes. Every now and then I fall apart. Turn around, bright eyes. You're fucking every now and then I fall apart. And I need you now, tonight. I fucking need you more than ever. And if you'll only hold me tight, shit, we'll be holding on forever. And we'll only be making it right. 'Cause we'll never be wrong. Together we can take it to the end of the line. Your fucking love is like a shadow on me all the time. All the shit, I don't know what to do. I'm always in the dark. Living in a powder keg and giving off sparks. Shit, I really need you tonight. Forever's gonna start tonight. The fucking ever's gonna start too. Once upon a time I was falling in love. Now I'm fucking falling apart. Nothing I can say. Total eclipse of the heart. Oh Jesus, once upon a time there was light in my life. Now there's only love in the dark. Nothing I can say. Total eclipse of the heart. Total eclipse of the heart. It's a true story. Turn around, bright eyes. Turn around. Turn around, bright eyes. Shit, turn around. Total eclipse of the heart. Total eclipse.
My number 3 is the most recent one on there that I have is Superbad.
Oh, tremendous! It's actually, that might be the best comedy in the last 15 years, because comedies have really gone downhill.
Yeah, it has, and it didn't click for me at the first time I watched it. It was just kind of like, nah, but I probably just wasn't paying attention as much.
Mm-hmm.
And then watching it a couple more times, like, yeah, this is actually really good.
I mean, just McLovin alone.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I think that's what I focused on the first part when I first watched it, and then I was like, oh, but these other characters are actually pretty good as well. So
yeah, and it's like comedies have turned into like this weird, awkward. Everything gets into awkward situations, like weird silences, and just I don't want to say mean spirited, but it's just I can't put it. There just seem to be comedies used to have a different spin on. Now everything just seems to be the same nowadays.
Yeah, they're not as fun.
Exactly. They're more mean-spirited, for lack of a better...
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. This one is definitely not mean-spirited. The next one I have is just about having fun and trying to figure out if that is really your true love or not, and that would be Can't Hardly Wait.
Another one. I used to get that one confused with the 10 Things I Hate About You, but love it. And we were just talking about Love Burger for a fake movie band. They don't even play a note.
No, they don't. They don't, and it's probably a good thing.
Yeah, but had a major crush on, and her name is the main protagonist.
Jennifer Love Hewitt.
Yeah. Oh, she was beautiful in that.
Yep. I would agree with you. That would make a lot of guys want to watch that movie.
And the main character, which I can't... Was his name Keith?
I don't think so.
Okay. So
I don't remember.
Whoever the main... He basically played Rusty in Vegas Vacation.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, I can't think of his name.
Yeah. But in any case...
I'm blanking on his name, but that's okay.
But there's a fun one with Jenna Elfman plays the angel.
Yes, for the Mandy Barry Manilow song when he's trying to get through on the payphone to a radio station. None of that happens nowadays.
No, I mean, you see payphones. That's like looking at a cassette tape, I guess, unless you're a hipster. But...
That and somehow in the middle of the night they have an interview with Barry Manilow.
That's right.
Go figure.
The great movie.
Don't put logic into it.
No.
Isn't the main, like the villain, doesn't he end up becoming the father in the Twilight Saga?
You're right. That is him. I can't think. He's actually a stand-up comedian.
Peter or something. Isn't it?
Facelli, I think.
Facinelli or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you have the cameo by, I'm blanking on his name. All I'm thinking is Jerry Maguire, but that's not his name.
Oh, Jerry O'Connell.
That's it.
Yeah, he plays. He's in college at that time, and he goes back to the high school party. He's just like this drunk. Yeah.
Yeah, I've always loved that movie. So
yeah, really, me too. It's a real fun movie.
And then the number one party movie is Animal House.
Definitely.
Nothing can top that.
No,
ever.
That toga party, and well, I'll promote it, but I don't know if it's going to be out before or after. But my mom and I are going to record the soundtrack. We're going to do a review of the soundtrack, so that's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, that'll be awesome.
Yeah, because right in her era of music, and yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun to talk about.
And that'll be one of Ralph's favorite episodes from Rock and Metal Combat.
Absolutely, because he loves my mom. He loves everyone's mom, actually. So there you go.
Yes, but he has a special love for your mom.
He
actually has a heartfelt love for your mom.
My mom always gets a kick out that Dr. Fuck is her favorite, is her biggest fan. So she gets a kick out of that. All right, well, thank you so much, Keith.
No problem. Anytime. Thanks for having me, Brian.
Party. All right, we're back with DJ Metal Mike. Welcome back.
Hey, brother. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. You got your buddy, DJ Kane.
Yeah, my nephew, my buddy, the son I never had. Yes, DJ Kane.
Well, we love having him on as well. And, of course, you got to listen to both of them on thatmetalstation.com. Metal Mike's on every Tuesday from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern. He's also on every Friday from 6 p.m. to 1 a.m. Eastern. It is a super long show. Join the chat room and just give him all the great feedback. And then also talk to DJ Kane. He is on every Sunday from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern. And every Thursday from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern. Great shows. Support metal. Support these guys. Because, hey, they support damn good movie memories. How can you not love them? So, thank you guys for always supporting and thank you for being on.
Well, thank you for having us, brother. And, thank you again for the plugs. It's very generous of you, and we do truly appreciate it, man. And by all means, any listeners that are into rock and metal, come on over to that metal station, dude. We would love to have you. So thank you, Brian.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, it's time to party. We're going to talk about our favorite party movies and movies that actually take place at a party. So this will be a fun one. I have no idea what you guys are going to pick for this one. I have maybe one idea, but the rest of them I have no clue. So I'm dying to hear your list because you always have an amazing list.
Well, thank you, my friend. I kind of struggled with this one, though, because, Brian, there's so many movies that could fall in that category. They can also fall in a lot of other different categories.
Oh, sure.
So it was kind of like, okay, well, does the movie have to take place at a party the whole time? Or
no.
Like, I just kind of was like, so this is my list. I think it works, but you let me know if there's anything that you're like, no, that's just not acceptable, DJ. Number 1, Risky Business.
Oh, hell yeah.
An all-time fucking absolute classic. I mean, it had everything. Great acting, killer dialogue, seamless direction, and Rebecca De Mornay.
Oh. Did you ever see the movie Feds?
Yes.
Yeah, there's another one. She really wasn't in that many movies, which was crazy.
Right, but she even said in an interview that she was able to work just from Risky Business.
Oh, I believe it. Yeah.
She did The Hand That Rocks the Cradle, which was another huge hit for her. But yeah, she's not as prolific as her co-star Tom Cruise was, but she always managed to keep working, and she even said that just having one hit film propelled her career to where she would kind of be able to pick and choose her own projects.
Yeah. And another great character actor in that movie, Curtis Armstrong.
Oh, I love Curtis Armstrong, man. That guy was great.
Yes.
I mean, again, one of my favorite parts is when they're running away from her pimp, and he's like, great, I have a midterm tomorrow, and I'm getting chased by Guido, the killer pimp.
Exactly.
It's just a great movie.
Oh, man. Yeah, and Joey Pantoliano was in it.
Oh, yeah. Everybody in that film was awesome. I mean, there's not any one weak link in it, and it was really funny to see people that went on to do other things, even his one buddy. I've seen him in other movies, too, and I can't remember his name right now. And Bronson Pinchot was in that movie.
That's right. Good call.
Dazed and Confused.
Definitely.
I know I mentioned this on one of our other lists, but I feel it fits this category as well. It's just a total love letter to the 1970s. Some great one-liners in this movie. A movie that featured a lot of actors and actresses that obviously went on to bigger and better things. But to me, again, like I said in a past episode about Matthew McConaughey staying so down to earth, Brian, one of my favorite things he ever did is when he won Best Oscar, he gets up to the podium. Did you ever see this, Kane?
No.
He gets up to the podium and he just goes, all right, all right, all right. It was like he remembered where he came from, and that's why that dude ruled. Number 3, Animal House, for obvious reasons.
Absolutely.
I mean, you know,
Toga Party.
Classic film. Again, you could throw that in the college category too, which I do believe I did
Yes.
when I was on my first episode. Great movie. Gotta love John Belushi and everybody in it. I know you like that movie as well, Kane. So here's one that I thought was an instant classic, at least for me when I went to see it, The Hangover.
Oh, totally.
It was so funny. That's the movie I took my friend Sarah with. Remember when I joked about you had that question about like, okay, what was the worst date you ever had in the movie? I was telling her about, I'm going to tell them The Hangover, and she smacked me in the back of the head. But great movie. I love The Hangover. I thought everybody in it was fantastic, and love Bradley Cooper. That's a guy who I like how he can be very funny and yet do serious things like American Sniper, like A Star Is Born, which I'm sorry to say I still haven't seen.
Oh, definitely check it out. You will not be disappointed. Yeah.
I want to. I heard Bohemian Rhapsody was amazing too, and I haven't got to see it either.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of fun. Really well done.
The only thing I heard the knock on it from a lot of my buddies is apparently they don't get the timeline.
Oh, that was my. So I was on Grown Up Rock, and we had to watch the movie before recording it, and that if you're a Queen nerd, that's gonna bother you, and I totally get it. The other thing is, I think it should have been rated R instead of rated PG-13. Because they kind of glossed over certain, in the 70s, it was all about the debauchery and the partying, and they kind of touch upon it, but it almost feels like a TV movie at times because of the PG-13 rating. But I get why they did it, because they wanted it to be for everyone and for kids to discover Queen's music too. So I get it, but as an adult, I wanted kind of a little bit more, but it's still a lot of fun. The acting's tremendous.
Kind of makes you wonder, though, if they're not going to maybe, like when they put it out on Blu-ray or whatever, do like a director's cut, which would have more of that stuff.
I hope so. That'd be a good idea.
Yeah, because they do that sometimes. But that's what I've heard is, which I didn't know you were on Growing Up Rock. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, it came out a couple weeks ago, and we give our movie review for Bohemian Rhapsody, and then our top 5 picks of our favorite Queen songs. So you'll
definitely check that out.
You'll enjoy it.
That's a good podcast.
Yeah.
I don't listen to every episode, but I have listened to them.
Yeah, you'll enjoy that. That was a lot of fun with those guys.
That's the one with Sonny Pooney, right?
Sonny and Stephen Michael. Yep.
Right on, man. I'll have to check it out.
Cool.
So Hangover, love it. And then here's my number 5 pick, Cheech and Chong, Up in Smoke.
We could do stoner movies. I mean, that'd be a good one.
Right, there you go, man. Future category, but
Absolutely.
Seriously, I mean that's total. Any Cheech and Chong movie though could be a party movie. Let's be honest, Number 6, and this is the one that always makes me think of DJ Kane, Grandma's Boy.
That's an underrated movie. That's a fun movie.
Huge gamer. He loves games, and he was Grandma's boy. So I love that movie. I think it's hilarious. And there's a lot of partying and debauchery in that movie. So what do you think of it, Brian?
Oh, it's tremendous. And the woman from the Partridge Family's in it.
Shirley Jones.
Shirley Jones is in it. She's great. And no, this is underrated. This is like one of Adam Sandler's guys. The guy, he was in The Wedding Singer. He's in a lot of Adam Sandler's movies, but he's the guy that wearing the Michael Jackson red jacket. He's like
he's very funny.
Yeah, I think his name's
Alan.
Alan Covert, I think, is his name.
Yes, that's his name.
Yeah, really fun movie.
Yeah, I love that movie. There's just so many funny parts to it. The one that always cracked me up was when Grandma scares the fuck out of him. She's under his bed, and you hear this. She about gives him a heart attack. He's like, Jesus Christ, Grandma. And I love how when they take his pot and make tea out of it.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking high.
Yeah.
It's such a good movie.
It's a fun movie, yeah.
I hate your face. Anyway, man, after that, number 7, Weird Science.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And again, Weird Science is one of those ones where you could put it in a high school setting. It's a high school setting, but it's also, to me, a party film. So, I mean, come on. That movie is just an absolute stone cold classic. That's a movie we could do a soundtrack on.
Oh, absolutely. Chips, dips, chains, whips. Your, good old high school type of orgy. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that movie, man. To me, that's when John was at the top of his game.
Absolutely.
Another film that I put on this list is another John Hughes movie, but I just felt like there is a huge party scene in it, so it works. The 16 Candles.
Great call. That's a key part of the movie.
Yeah, I mean, come on, man. Especially when the guys get there and you got Long Don hanging on the door going, come on in. And they're all like acting scared and shit and don't want to go inside. I love that movie.
No more Yankee my wanky. The donger needs food.
Right. Yeah, I love that movie. My number 9, Superbad.
Oh, yeah.
I thought this was, again, much like The Hangover, just an instant classic. I mean, come on, man. McLovin, how can you not love
I don't know if
that
I've
movie?
seen that movie.
Oh,
yeah.
It's hilarious, dude. It's got Jonah Hill in it. What's her name?
Yeah, Emma Stone.
It's got Seth Rogen as one of the cops. It's a funny movie.
Bill Hader.
Huh?
Bill Hader's the other cop.
Yes,
Yeah.
It's so funny, dude. And who's his buddy though?
Yeah, it's the kid in
the other guy.
Yeah, it's Michael Cera is the kid in Juno.
Sarah, yeah, that's it. And it's such a funny movie, dude. You would love it. I can't believe you haven't seen that, dude. It's hilarious.
It's probably one of the best comedies in the last 10, 15 years.
Yeah, because let's be honest, man. The last few comedies have been kind of not good.
They're all the
I'm
same.
Just throwing that out there, man.
Yeah.
The last ones I've seen was maybe Superbad and Hangover and 40-Year-Old Virgin. That's about it.
No, I know. They're falling back on like the same kind of awkward, like just weird humor that like it's like the same writers are writing it. It's like and
it's like they're just going through the motions. It's like almost like they don't know what to do or what they want to do, and I don't know, man. But they need to get on the ball because, like I said, this is a concern of mine. Everybody who knows me knows I'm a comic book fanboy, and I'm loving all these superhero shows and movies. But goddamn, or comic book movies, because not all of them are superheroes.
No.
But goddamn it, man, they need to fucking step up the game with some of these other genres because I don't want the genre that I do love getting overexposed and blowing the fuck up. And the next thing what are we gonna do then? What are we gonna watch then?
Exactly.
If they flood the market with comic book movies and people get sick of them, then what's going to fucking happen?
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
No.
It really has me really nervous. It's like, man, people need to step up their A game with some of these other genres. Now, to be fair, I have seen some really good movies here in the last few years. But, yeah, they need to keep going because it's just like, man, especially comedy. Comedy's just hurting.
Oh, I agree. Absolutely.
So is horror, but I think it's making a comeback.
Well, I think horror's made a huge comeback because they've actually made some that were worth it.
Time, man, horror was just absolutely awful.
I think having James Wan and doing the Conjuring movies has kind of given horror a big punch in the face.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Superbad, great movie.
For the longest time, I actually hated horror movies because they're just so terrible.
Yeah.
And there were just so many of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's like you always say, though, it's the cheap scare. But let's get back on topic. We'll talk about horror some other time. We have honorable mentions, Revenge of the Nerds.
Got it. Yeah. Yeah.
Got to put that on the list.
Yep.
Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Absolutely.
Again, it's a high school movie, but I also feel it's a party film, too.
Oh, I agree.
Old school.
Oh, yeah. That's definitely in my top 10.
You're my boy, Blue. Project X.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one. A newer one.
Yes. Can't Hardly Wait.
Oh, great movie.
And Eurotrip. Excuse me. Love that movie.
Definitely. As always, amazing picks, guys. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us, brothers. Keep rocking and stay metal.
Okay, Rachel has been brave enough to take on party movies because a lot of the regular guests have skipped on this one. But Rachel's always up for a party, as we found out with the one-day movies and her love of juries and things like that. So,
if there's one thing about me, I enjoy a good time.
Yes.
I don't know. That sounded better in my head.
Yeah. Well, it was good because you made a face when I said that you liked to party. So.
Well, I'm sure the podcast listeners.
Oh, they love this.
We're very in tune with that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. So now that you know we're a lot of fun, let's get into your favorite, not necessarily party movies, but your favorite party scenes in a movie.
Yeah, I picked scenes, and the first one is iconic to me.
Mm-hmm.
being at my tender age.
Mhm.
But I feel like this is, for anyone who saw and liked this movie, this is an iconic moment.
Okay.
And it's the fucking Catalina wine mixer.
Okay, what? No. Okay,
It's from Step Brothers. It was a movie with...
So I've seen Step Brothers. I'm trying to remember the scene.
It's like it's not like a party, but it's like the big event that's supposed to be on Catalina Island that all goes wrong, basically. And
At the end?
At the end.
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
And they're playing... What song are they playing that's super funny?
It's... I don't know how to say it because I don't speak Italian.
Yeah.
But it's that... I have it in front of me.
Yeah.
I don't want to say it wrong. But yeah, it's that song.
Yeah. That's the party that comes to mind.
Well, because it's supposed to be. It is defined as a party because it's their Dale Brothers, like the catering company.
Yes.
Who is catering this party? So, but then the band quits, and it's all this thing. So then it gets up there on the drums, and then the singing, and it's just the most absurd thing at the end of an already really absurd movie.
Oh, it's crazy, yeah.
And it's just so weird and funny, and just the way that and because the song is so emotionally affecting, regardless of the fact that it's absolutely ridiculous, you actually feel like, oh, they're doing it. Like, this is amazing. This is this is the big moment, and you feel this well of emotion as everyone's just going around saying it's the fucking Catalina wine mixer, and it's just and it's so strange.
Yeah, because if I remember correctly, so Will Ferrell's singing, but he's singing like an angel or something like that. Yeah, and John C. Reilly's on drums, right? Yeah.
What do you want, Brennan? This is my online poker time.
I'm just going to come out and say it. I'm ready to take on the Catalina wine mixer.
Ho, slow down there, Speed Racer.
I know what it entails, and I'm ready to nail it. I want it, okay? I want the Catalina wine mixer.
Yo.
Hey, D-Man.
Did you tell him what's up?
I sure did.
Hey.
Hey, your brother wants a shot at the Catalina wine mixer.
I'm ready. I'm walking tall.
You think you're ready to run with the bulls?
I've been earning and burning, snapping necks and cashing checks.
Screw it. Let's let him do it. No, it's a win-win for me. Because if you fuck up, Brennan, I get to fire your ass. But if you pull it off, I look like a genius to the board. Okay?
I get it.
Look, Brennan, here's the thing. It's the Catalina fucking wine mixer, okay?
Are you saying pow? What are you saying?
It's the biggest helicopter leasing event in the Western Hemisphere since 1997.
Why does he keep doing that?
I have to sell or lease at least 80 choppers to make my nut. And you mess with my nut, Brennan, Randy here is gonna eat your dick.
Like Kobayashi.
I've seen him do it.
You've actually seen him eat a man's penis?
It was in international water, so they couldn't prosecute him, but I saw it.
I'll tell you right now, I'll nail it. I'll pull it off, okay?
Wait a second, why do you want this so bad, Brennan? Are you trying to get mom and dad back together or something?
Why do I want this?
Yeah.
Because I want to make bank, bro. I want to get ass. I want to drive a Range Rover.
Okay, well, you better, Brennan. This is a fucking Catalina wine mixer.
There's so many funny scenes in that movie
Yeah.
where they did the back and forth, which makes all the more disappointing the new Holmes movie that's coming out with them.
Yeah, I saw that, a trailer for that.
It looks terrible. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but
I didn't know that was a thing, and then I saw a trailer for it the other day, and I thought that was a strange choice.
yeah.
I don't know.
And I love Sherlock Holmes movies. I love the one that Robert Downey Jr. did with Jude Law. But this, and I love these types of movies, but the trailer looked bad. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So we shall see.
We'll
so
see.
Step Brothers first, then if you want to delve into Sherlock Holmes, you can. And what is the other one?
It's a very specific scene in My Big Fat Greek Wedding.
Okay, so I haven't seen this, so you're gonna have to explain.
Okay, so the premise is that the main character starts dating and eventually is engaged to and marries someone who is not Greek.
Okay.
And there's this scene where she and the guy and his parents, who are sort of just like waspy white parents,
White people,
get invited to this big Greek party where all of her family is there, and they show up and are completely overwhelmed, and they show up with a bundt cake. And then the Greek mother is like, gracious and accepting of the gift, but she doesn't get it. She's like, this cake has a hole in it. There's something wrong.
Right.
And so the initial part of the party is, his parents are uncomfortable, overwhelmed, like kind of sitting together, like obviously this is incredibly overstimulating. But eventually, they just start drinking because people at the Greek family members just start handing them shots, basically.
Right.
And so they're drinking, and then they just get really drunk and end up having like a great
time.
But just the process of like walking up to this party where they have like a pig roasting in the front yard. There's people spilling out everywhere.
Right.
And they bring like a nice humble bundt cake, and then at some point the mom comes into the living room where they're sitting with the bundt cake, but she's put a potted plant in the hole, and she was like, I fixed it. And it's just the funniest because I come from a big loud family like that too, and so it's sort of funny to me to like see people who aren't used to those types of environments being put in them.
How they react.
Because I've done that to other people when they've come to like my family parties and stuff too. And it's not like a laughing at you sort of a thing. It's more just like, oh, I feel better that it's not just my family.
It's amusing.
Yeah, it's not just my family that does this to people, or their family does it way more than mine does. And it's really funny. And then even to this day, if anything involving a bundt cake is going on in my family, we'll like quote the movie.
Sure. So what is the funniest thing that has happened to you similar in your family to what happened in this movie?
So there's this pattern that me and my cousins have when we bring our significant others to my grandparents' house for the first time.
Okay.
We have to warn them that the meal that we eat when we get there is not the only meal we're going to eat.
Really?
So my cousin and her now husband, the first time that she brought him to visit our grandparents, they get there and they have spaghetti and some Filipino food. It's like a substantial like entrees.
Right.
And then an hour or so after they finish eating, then my grandma goes, well, it's time for dinner. And then they have steak.
That's like an appetizer.
Yeah. Okay. But my cousin didn't warn him of that. So he thought that, he was being really, he had seconds.
Oh, yeah.
He was like eating, everything was really good, but then didn't have room for actual dinner. So it's usually stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like being unprepared for all the food.
Sounds like going to a Brazilian steakhouse and having like nonstop, like, oh yeah, there's like 10 other steaks that are coming.
Yeah, don't fill up on the first
And then that's probably not counting dessert, right?
Yeah, that can go either way. Yeah.
Okay, that can go either way.
Sometimes, it's not as rude to decline dessert as it is to decline dinner.
Right. So he knew, and he realized that you got to go easy on the first course.
Yeah.
Okay. Good to know.
And now visiting my grandparents comes with a warning. It's like, okay, this is what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm. I think it's a rite of passage for all grandparents to feed well. I think that's a sign of endearment. So.
Yes.
Well, now I need to see this movie because I'm going to be looking just for the bundt cake scene.
Oh, it's good. It's really, and just the visual of them walking up to this party where they have like a pig in the front yard.
Oh God, yeah.
And there's just kids running everywhere, and and one of the uncles or whoever is introducing a group of people, and they all have like the same name. They're all called Nikki, and
right.
And that was funny for my family too because I have like a million cousins and second cousins named Joshua.
Oh.
So it was a bit of like. It was funny.
Like Josh 1, Josh 2.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, as always, thank you so much, Rachel.
Yay.
Okay, we're back with Malin. Welcome back.
Hey, Brian.
All right, it's time to party, and we're gonna talk about party movies. And so, if it's not necessarily the movie as a whole, I'm also accepting, main scenes that really stand out in films too that involve a big time party. So I'm curious to hear what you came up with.
Yeah. Me too. I had a hard time with this one.
Yeah.
Not much of a party animal, and then I realized I guess maybe I don't gravitate towards party movies because I didn't have very many in like my collection or off the top of my head.
But you like to do daredevil things because you're a big skydiver. So.
Yeah, but they're not parties. I don't know.
Depends how you look at it.
Yeah. So Dazed and Confused, that's a party movie.
Oh,
right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I say that with a question mark at the end in my intonation because it's been so long that I've seen it. But I remember a lot of drinking in it, and
pretty much it's all pretty much leading up to that main party at the end. So it's absolutely a party movie.
Yeah, and it's funny because I know I mentioned to you like I think of Dazed and Confused as being kind of like my experience of my last day in high school. However, there's a caveat to that. Like, I was never a party animal and never have been. So, like,
my last days of high school didn't involve beer or partying. I think that movie, however, still kind of holds some truth for me because I know other people were doing it.
Sure.
And that's kind of like my idea of what like parties were like for other people when I was graduating high school.
But no, that's how my high school parties were. Pretty much, we'd mostly go to the beach, like they're out in the woods somewhere, but we would find a beach party and do that, and that would always get interesting. So especially trying to climb back up after drinking heavily. Yeah. So yeah.
Wait, and where were those beaches though? In
usually Half Moon Bay, sometimes Pacifica. So yeah, we would go in September, October, and here in the Bay Area, that would still be pretty decent weather.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
nice.
That was always a lot of fun.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We would take off and just kind of hang out in the mountains because I grew up in the Central Valley.
Right.
So we'd go up into the hills. There was a mine shaft up in a valley up in the foothills going up into the Sierra Nevadas, and we would go out and sometimes we'd hang out at night and we'd climb up this hill towards this mine shaft, which basically just looked like a series of caves, but they've been blown out by dynamite.
Oh, yeah.
It was so that was interesting, and there was this owl that lived way up in the top, and so every time we'd go up there, as we were like walking up the hill, we'd start getting like really nervous because it was really, really creepy and dark, and it was out in the middle of nowhere in the foothills, and we weren't thinking about it, but
of course not.
Snakes everywhere, so this owl would fly out from this cave every time we'd get up there. As we got closer and it realized we were coming, then it would fly out and scare us every time.
Oh man.
Anyway, I don't know why I bring that up, but
well,
that's how we partied. We'd go up into the mountains and scare the hell out of ourselves over nothing.
It's even more scary when you're drinking and you're around other people that are drinking. So
yeah, so there wasn't any of that. Yeah, it was just us kind of being silly without alcohol.
Well, that's okay. That's good.
Weird Science.
Definitely.
I remember that movie kind of blew my mind when I saw it when it first came out. I was like, oh my gosh. It is such a crazy, crazy movie. I haven't seen it in a while, but yeah, I remember it blowing my mind in a lot of different ways.
Well, that party scene turns into the whole movie's a fantasy movie for obvious reasons, but then it just turns into this like almost like apocalyptic type thing with all these weird villains showing up from looks like Mad Max or something like that. Yeah. And
then I think they freeze the grandparents.
They do, and then Bill Paxton ends up finding them.
So it's movies like Weird Science and 16 Candles, I think, that really put me off the idea of having crazy parties as a kid, because I never wanted to get in like actual trouble, and I certainly never wanted to like destroy my house. But as far as I could tell, so I was like really impressionable as a stupid teenager. Like Nancy Reagan totally talked me out.
Just say no.
Just say no. It totally scarred me for life. I haven't touched a thing. And then like Weird Science and 16 Candles, like, oh no, I've always veered away from parties like that. And of course, in my stupid adolescent brain, I'm like, oh, if I ever have anybody over and they have beer, it will destroy the house.
Right, right.
I was like, I don't want to clean that up. At the end of those movies, I was thinking, oh my gosh, who's going to clean that up? I mean, Weird Science sorts itself out,
Well,
but
I'm just like you. That left an impression on me too. So I definitely wouldn't have it at my house because I know my parents would kill me, and I know they're listening to this right now. But I would also go to other people's houses that didn't have quite as strict parents, so that ended up being a better option. And that's why the beach always worked, because it's tough to screw up a beach. So
yeah. Well, I'm glad to hear I'm not the only one.
Oh, definitely not.
Those movies too seriously.
That's right.
Oh, and then my last two party movies. These are dinner party movies. And mystery films as well. So actually, there are three of them. So Gosford Park, which is a dinner party that goes wrong, and that's I know I've mentioned that a bunch of times.
Yeah.
That's a fantastic kind of British English countryside murder mystery and class examination, and just kind of every fantastic British actor and a few others thrown in there, chewing up the scenery in this country estate over the course of a weekend. Love that movie.
Yes.
Agatha Christie's and Then There Were None.
Great pick.
Pretty much every version of that movie, even the TV miniseries I love because, spoiler alert, but everyone dies.
Yes.
And somehow that's just totally appealing to me. The fuck it all.
Die
premise.
It's a classic story, and that's a great pick.
Yeah, and I couldn't even tell you which was my favorite version of it. The recent TV miniseries with Charles Dance, that's pretty darn good.
Mm-hmm.
But of the films, they kind of all blur together. I don't even know how many there have been. There is one that stands out, and I think I told you about it before. Did I tell you about the adult version of this movie that I saw?
No. Oh, yes, you did. This was when you also saw, I think it was Pink Flamingos, right?
That's exactly right. Yeah, that's exactly right.
So please go back and watch it was either Guilty Pleasure or...
it might have been Cult
Classics, yes.
One of those two. So, I think maybe I've just been trying to cleanse my palate from that experience by seeing all these much more... much better, much
highbrow,
much more sanitary versions of it. And my last one is Clue.
Right when you said this, I knew you had to go with Clue.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. I just watched Clue again last night. I do not know why I keep going back to that film. I don't think it deserves to be gone back to as many times as I have over the years. But I think something about the murder mystery part of it, the jokes I think have warmed up to me over time.
Yep.
I never laugh at it anymore because I've heard it all before so many times. But I think some of those jokes, I just like hearing it. I don't know why.
No, I get it. And also, you get different endings depending on which version you watch, so...
Yeah. And, actually, so it's got all three versions, tacked on to the end of the home.
Oh, okay.
The home entertainment release.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so you end up watching all three versions.
Okay.
I definitely have a favorite version, and again, that's the one where, everybody did it. So it's the opposite of the end, and then there were none, where everybody dies. Here, it's everybody killed everybody else, and that's kind of satisfying for me.
So that was
nobody gets out because if they're all guilty,
and
it's set in 1950s or 1950s, I think. Yeah, let's go with 1950s.
Okay.
Because it's got all this red herring stuff, so maybe even earlier. But they're all going to go to they're all going to be executed.
Yes.
So nobody makes it out of that one either.
Well, that's the great part about owning it on DVD, because you can actually start from the beginning where you can either watch all three endings or you can have it be randomized. And so I always do it the randomized. So that's always a lot of fun. Yeah.
I never did have that experience. I think I went from VHS to Laserdisc. And I don't think that feature was available on Laserdisc. If it was, then I don't know. I just didn't do it or find it.
Yeah,
but I don't think so.
It's definitely an excuse to buy the DVD just for that fun, experience out of it.
I don't have a DVD player anymore.
I'll let you have one. I have an extra one. So.
What would I do with it?
Come visit. Just to watch Clue.
Just watch Clue.
Yeah. That's why I keep my VCR, because I have very rare, certain bootleg videotapes that I have to keep,
Yeah, I kind of did the whole buying everything over and over and over again. So once I got everything that I had and wanted from VHS on DVD, then I felt comfortable saying goodbye to VHS.
Sure.
And honestly, there are only a few things that I only have access to on DVD. Really just maybe three movies, and then some British TV series that haven't come over.
As always, thank you so much, Malin.
Thanks, Frank.
Okay, we're back with another episode with our good buddy Dain. Welcome back.
Thank you. So the next genre is it's a big action / fantasy / sci-fi kind of lumped in together.
The mishmash. Okay.
Yeah, and Back to the Future.
Oh, okay.
The tagline I don't quite recall. It's kind of long. He was never in time for his classes. He wasn't in time for his dinner. Then one day he wasn't in his time at all.
I don't remember that, but it makes sense. I mean, everything was about time, and Huey Lewis had the Back in Time song. So yeah, that works.
Yeah, it's a little clunky, I think, because they're saying it's a little asymmetrical, right? He was never in time, and then in his time.
Right.
I don't know. But that's being a little bit meticulous. Or pedantic, right? RoboCop is the next one.
The original.
Right, yes. Yeah. Part man, part machine, all cop, the future of law enforcement.
That's not bad.
Right. I remember the first three.
Yeah.
Part man, machine, all cop.
I don't remember the last part, yeah.
Yeah, they should have left it with the first three. They could have left out the future of law enforcement or made that a different one.
Right.
A different lesson one here. So, okay, this one was kind of weird because it turns out it's one of the most, according to one website, one of the most terribly misguided taglines ever because it doesn't seem to fit at all.
Okay.
But, okay, so the movie is Star Trek V from '89.
Okay.
The tagline is, "Why are they putting seatbelts in theaters this summer?"
Wow, that is bad.
Right? I don't know. I mean, it's such an action thrill ride, I guess is what they're going for.
Oh, geez. Yeah, I mean, that's one I forget. I mean, I think there was 7 of them with Shatner and crew. And that one, the one after, everything after 4, I kind of like, they all mishmash for me.
Yeah, I think 5 might have been like the worst reviewed of them, actually.
Yeah, I seem to recall that too.
Undiscovered Country was somewhat respected, actually.
The 6th one? Was that the 6th?
Yeah. That I saw Siskel and Ebert review, and I think it was 2 thumbs up, or at least 1 thumb strongly up, and then the other one mildly down, or something like that.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
So anyway, yeah, what were they thinking? Right?
Yeah.
So the next movie is Dick Tracy.
With Warren Beatty and Pacino and all them, yeah. Madonna. Yep.
From 1990, and this one's a little so flat. I don't know what they're thinking, but the tagline is, "I'm on my way."
Yeah, that's bad. That's bad.
The only way I can make sense of it is if, you have to see it on the poster and he's talking to his cool little watch or something, he's telling them, "I'm on my way."
I don't even remember if that was like one of it, because certain cops or superheroes have certain catchphrases. I don't even remember if that was, maybe it was his catchphrase, but it's pretty bad.
Yeah, it's pretty mundane catchphrase. No 8-year-olds are running around.
No,
looking,
I'm on my way.
I'm on my way.
Yeah.
It's not very inspiring.
No.
Okay, Predator 2. So this wasn't a great movie, but I think it's a pretty effective tagline. He's in town with a few days to kill.
That, I like that. That's definitely better than the movie.
Yeah. I liked that Hudson from Aliens was in it.
Oh, yeah.
That's at the time, that's what I would have said. Hudson from Aliens. I would have said Bill Paxton.
Right.
But other than that, not very notable.
No.
Terminator 2.
Okay.
You'd think everyone would know this, but I don't really recall. The tagline is "Same make, same model, new mission."
That sounds familiar. At least they didn't cop out and just say like, "I'm back" or something like that.
Oh right, yeah.
Or, like he is back or something. Yeah, something stupid like that.
Even worse, I said I'll be back.
Yeah, exactly. So at least they didn't do that.
Right. So GoldenEye is the next one.
Okay.
The tagline is, "You know the name, you know the number."
So obviously the play on James Bond.
Right.
Yeah.
And you could actually kind of tell from that it had been a while since the last James Bond movie.
So that's the first with Pierce Brosnan, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And that was about 6 years after the last one with Timothy Dalton.
Right. So I think Dalton's last one was 89, I want to say. And this was probably, 94, 95?
Yeah, 95.
Okay, yeah.
Well, I think more people know when the video game came out, so that actually kind of helps place the movie.
Yeah, there you go.
So that kind of explains, the number. They're trying to kind of prime you. Oh, yeah, that guy, 007.
Exactly.
Men in Black is the next one.
Okay.
Protecting the Earth from the scum of the universe. Pretty effective.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah. Let's see. Dark City is the next one.
Okay.
That tagline is, "They built the city to see what makes us tick. Last night, one of us went off."
Not bad. That's not bad.
Yeah. Ticking time bomb. Okay, I see.
Yeah.
Rush Hour is the next one.
Okay.
This is kind of good. The fastest hands in the East meet the biggest mouth in the West.
I have heard this one. Yeah, of course, because Chris Tucker being the motor mouth and it's not the introduction of Jackie Chan, but this kind of put him in a different level.
Yeah. Rumble in the Bronx came out earlier, but that was kind of a milder introduction to him for a lot of people, and it wasn't a big blockbuster.
No, it was more of a cult classic, but yeah, definitely.
Yeah, the funny thing, Rumble in the Bronx was filmed in Vancouver.
Of course, like a lot of movies, yeah.
Yeah, and it doesn't look much like New York. It's a little too clean and green.
Yeah.
Toronto has been used as a stand-in for New York in a lot of movies, and that makes a little more sense.
Yeah, definitely that East Coast vibe, you know.
Yeah, fun fact, Short Circuit 2 was Toronto, and I think it was supposed to be New York in the movie.
Oh, that's good trivia. That's the one where they couldn't even get Gutenberg, but I think they got Michael McKean is in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that other guy who, oh God, sadly, he'll probably never live it down. What's that, Fisher Stevens?
Oh, yeah, he's basically he's doing brownface because he's playing in Indian, you know. So.
The accent and everything.
Oh, yeah, yep.
I mean, Ben Kingsley is like a much classier version of what he did.
Yeah, exactly.
In Gandhi, right? But at least that was a substantial film, and he's a much more respected actor, and he might actually be someone Indian background. I'm not entirely sure. I don't think so, though.
Right. Like, there was definitely no offense in that one. So.
Yeah, no offense. I mean, the subject matter was taken very seriously, the depiction and all that.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, where was I at? Oh, Rush Hour. Okay, so Saving Private Ryan is the last one.
Okay.
There's not much fun to be had bantering about this one. It is. The mission is a man.
Yeah, direct to the point makes sense.
Right. Okay, so the last category is drama.
Okay.
So Wall Street is the first one.
Uh-huh.
And it's Every Dream Has a Price.
Yeah, that's a great one.
Yeah. Did you ever see the sequel to Wall Street?
Yeah, I did. And my biggest beef with sequels like that, they wait too long, and so the magic's gone. And I get it. You know, Michael Douglas had been in prison for a long time, and he gets out. But yeah, they couldn't recreate the magic.
Yeah, it was somewhat better than I expected, though.
Yeah, it wasn't horrible. It wasn't like Basic Instinct 2, but it wasn't great.
Yeah, it's one of those movies that kind of suffers from being, thought of in comparison to the original. When as a standalone financial drama, it's probably above average.
Yeah, and at the time, there's a lot of other like The Wolf of Wall Street might have been out around the same time, and Dallas Buyers Club. Like, there's a lot of other stuff going on with Wall Street, I guess, at the time because of all the issues towards the end, like in '08 and things like that. So
yeah, there's some movie called Margin Call with Kevin Spacey.
Yeah,
there's been
exactly.
Anyway, I digress.
Yeah.
The next movie is New York Stories.
Oh yeah, good movie.
Yeah, that was the one. 3 different directors, 3 stories in one type thing.
Yep.
Woody Allen, Francis Ford Coppola, and I forgot the last one. But yeah. Anyway, that was the tagline for that is "One city, 3 stories tall."
Yeah,
cute.
Yeah, that's a good one.
The movie poster, of course. The movie poster had that New York brownstone or whatever kind of painting.
Right.
And see kind of a silhouette against the light in the bedroom on each floor.
Yeah.
Kind of hinting at what the stories involve. So the next movie is Steel Magnolias. And this is kind of a dramedy, of course, but I feel it's more drama. But
it's a tearjerker.
Yeah. The tagline for that is the funniest movie ever to make you cry. Which is cute. It's a little quaint, but from the vantage point of 2018, but nice at the time.
They could have done the funniest movie since Beaches.
Yeah, Beaches was a dramedy too, but it feels more drama.
Oh yeah.
Because of the heavy duty stuff toward the end. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next movie, which is really a romantic comedy, I guess, but I have it under drama, is When Harry Met Sally. This isn't very pithy at all. The tagline is, "Can 2 friends sleep together and still love each other in the morning?"
Yeah, I mean, that's the plot of the movie pretty much.
It's good because it kind of encapsulates the contradictory things going on, right? We're friends, but we're sleeping together. And so the sentence is kind of, whoa, what? There are things at odds in there that need to be unpacked.
Well, that, and they didn't really like each other for most of the movie. Like, half the movie, they're not even that good of friends. They just kind of...
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I just... I thought it was more like... Oh, wait, okay, so it's kind of like You've Got Mail. They're
exactly.
In the beginning.
Yeah, just replace Tom Hanks with Billy Crystal.
I wonder if people call that, the... When Harry Met Sally for the digital generation or something.
When Harry Met Sally on AOL, pretty much.
Right. Yeah. And now that actually seems older somehow than When Harry Met Sally because it's so easily dated by that.
Oh, I know. And it brings up a good point. I've said this before on the podcast. So when You Got Mail is a remake of The Shop Around the Corner from 1940 with James Stewart. And actually, the AOL section, as you said, made it seem more dated than even the 1940 movie at times.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that about you, James. Oh yeah, see, you're more of a thorough movie buff. I mean, my history starts basically when I was born. I don't really go much earlier than that.
I do love classic movies like the old black and white movies. So yeah.
Yeah, one time I rented The Wages of Fear, Criterion Collection movie from a library in Sacramento, and I was proud of myself for that. I thought it was good.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the next movie is Days of Thunder.
Oh, okay.
And the tagline for that is "Cruise like thunder."
Yeah, they're definitely using the cachet of having Tom Cruise in the movie.
It's more the story in a way, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And maybe they were good to do that because it wasn't much of a movie as far as I remember.
Actually, the most famous part is that's I think where he met Nicole Kidman in that.
Oh, right, yeah. Behind the scenes stuff is more popular than the movie, more famous.
Exactly.
It's funny. I have a story about that. My dad saw a sneak preview. He was on a business trip once, and he was in I think upstate New York somewhere, and he went to go see Cruise with a sneak preview movie coming after that. I guess then it was like genuine sneak previews. You pay for 2 movies and you don't know what the second one's going to be.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
And,
I wish they'd bring that back.
Yeah. It's so hard to get people in theaters now.
Exactly.
Rather just ply you with more alcohol and make the seats bigger.
That's true. Yeah, they recline. Yeah.
But so he paid to see Days of Thunder and then some second movie, the likes of which he wasn't aware. Right? And it turns out the second movie was Ghost.
Ah, did he end up liking Ghost, or was he like, eh?
Yeah. He said Ghost was way better than Days of Thunder.
Interesting. That's interesting.
The other people there mostly agreed, but.
Have you ever, this brings up a good point. Have you ever seen a movie where it's a research movie where you're a test audience? Have you ever done that before?
No.
So I did it once in high school. It was for the movie The Scout with Albert Brooks and Brendan Fraser, where Brendan Fraser plays like this phenom pitcher, baseball pitcher.
Oh yeah, I do remember that, yeah.
And what I remember is like we liked the beginning of it, and I didn't like the second half. They made a few changes, but it was pretty much the same. So I don't know if the test audiences liked it or not, but it was kind of interesting because you
saw a different film than other people.
Yeah. And that's the thing because you have to fill out the questionnaire and everything.
Oh wow,
yeah,
that would make me feel special. It's like I saw some kind of director's cut isn't the right word, but some kind of early version that's pretty cool.
Well, that's like the famous Pretty in Pink story where they pretty much changed the ending because of the test audiences. Ducky was supposed to end up with Andy, and the audiences hated it, so they changed it. So and then it became the ending that everyone knows.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next one is Crybaby with Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp, yep.
Which is a movie that I had a girlfriend once who lived in San Diego. I went down to visit her, and all her friends were watching that and like reacting to it, reading out the lines, and it was. I guess it's called kind of a cult hit. What I'm getting.
Well, it's a John Waters movie, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
The tagline for that is "Good girls want him bad, bad girls want him worse."
That's a good one. But yeah.
Yeah. I guess maybe fans of Grease like that.
Yeah, and probably Hairspray.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So speaking of Ghost, the next one is Ghost.
There you go.
Tagline for that is: Before Sam was murdered, he told Molly he'd love and protect her forever.
Wow, that's a terrible tagline, actually.
It's kind of worry. I mean,
yeah.
I guess what they're getting at is like, oh, you put it in your head. Oh, you put 2 and 2 together. Love her forever. Oh, like beyond the grave forever. Okay,
yeah.
I see.
They should have done something.
Yeah, it's a little on the nose and lengthy, and yeah, I don't know.
I guess they could have maybe done it more, I don't know, spiritual or I don't know. But that doesn't seem to work for at all.
Yeah. It's easy to say they could do better, but then it's harder to say what that would be.
Yeah.
So JFK is the next one.
Okay.
The tagline is "The story that won't go away."
Yeah, that's not bad.
It sure feels like it's gone away by now.
Yeah, that's the thing. Or the story that never. What? Yeah, they could do something else with that. Like the story the untold story, or something like that. Or I don't know. Or you may think you know who did it, but you really don't. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. See this because they don't want you to, or something.
Right.
A little lame. I guess we have to think or realize that in 1991, we're far, far closer to 63.
Oh, sure.
Than we are now.
Sure.
And so that was 27 years ago now, so it would have been we're about halfway, or that was about the halfway point between now and the actual JFK assassination or something.
That's right. And then and a lot of those baby boomers are turning 40, so yep.
Yeah, that was around the time they were turning 40.
Exactly. Yep.
Right, yeah. Okay, cool. Well, not cool, but
well, yeah.
Okay, so Quiz Show is the next one.
Okay.
50 million people watched, but no one saw a thing.
That's a good one.
A good one, yeah. Okay, this critically acclaimed film is next. Fear.
with Mark Wahlberg, yeah, and Reese Witherspoon, yeah. Together Forever or Else. It fits in the movie.
What I remember most about that movie is him screaming into the peephole of the door.
Yeah, and weren't they on a roller coaster at one point too? Yeah.
That Wild Horses song was playing,
Yes.
Wild Horses.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, Patch Adams is the next one.
Okay.
Well, Someone is Dying for a Second Chance.
That could be for Fear too.
Okay, so Notting Hill is the last one in drama.
Okay.
And the tagline for that is, can the most famous film star in the world fall for just an ordinary guy? Thing is, he doesn't feel very ordinary to me.
No, not at all. Not at all.
He seems exactly like the kind of guy who's friends with a famous female celebrity or something.
Exactly, or a hooker.
Right. Ordinary guy is like something far closer to Larry the Cable Guy.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Hugh Grant.
Not Hugh Grant. Well, those are great, Dain.
Well, cool.
Thank you so much. And you're going to keep doing this, and I can't wait for the next installment. We'll get into the new millennium.
Yeah. So going forward, it's going to be 2,000 or newer, and I'll try to split that into 2 installments, and then we might be exhausted on that, on the whole tagline thing, and the adventure will have ended, but we had a good time. So.
No, we can keep it going, and then you'll come back 10 years from now, so we'll still be on the air.
Oh, yeah, well, okay, yeah, that far out, sure, totally. We can revisit it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Dain.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks talking to you, Brian.
Cool. We are officially on Spotify now, so if you don't use iTunes, if you don't use the Podbean app, you can go to Spotify and get all of our past episodes. You can stream it on there, so if you're a Spotify user, you can go find Damn Good Movie... I can't even say my own podcast. Damn Good Movie Memories. Yes, I know what I'm talking about. I'm the host, right? Okay, so go to Spotify, look for Damn Good Movie Memories. You can stream all of that stuff. And yeah, so if you don't want to use iTunes, you don't want to use Podbean, you can use Spotify as well. All right, before we sign off, we do have t-shirts are available for sale. All you have to do is go to TeePublic, that's TeePublic.com, and you can get your very own Damn Good Movie Memories t-shirt. You can get all sizes, any gender, you can get whatever you want just at the tip of your fingers. So just go to TeePublic.com, look up Damn Good Movie Memories, and you can get your very own t-shirt. If you enjoy this podcast and are an iTunes user, please do the show a favor and head on over to the official iTunes page for Damn Good Movie Memories. Be sure to leave a rating and a review. This will allow the show to appear higher in the algorithm and spread the joy of this podcast to the masses. If you are not an iTunes user, you can still listen and subscribe on Podbean at damngoodmoviememories.podbean.com. Be sure to like us on Facebook under our Damn Good Movie Memories page. You can also listen to a limited number of episodes on YouTube. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode, and be sure to tune in next week for an all-new episode of Damn Good Movie Memories.
I am Dr. Fuck.
And I'm the Absol Alcoholic.
And we are part of the Rock and Metal Combat Podcast.
We are the Rock and Metal Combat Podcast.
That's right. And the way you can check us out is we are on iTunes and also Podbean. And we forgot a review recently. I got this review right here. It says, Rock and Metal Combat Podcast is the greatest podcast in the world, and it's my #1 podcast, signed by Science. Now, and then Science also says... Science also said... My second favorite podcast is It Doesn't Matter, the rest suck. Rock and Metal Combat Podcast on iTunes and Podbean. Check it out.
Science!